recently, and about how I'm feeling about leaving school and doing exams and kind of going on to the future, the unknown future, and that sort of thing. And this one's kind of to do with exams and how you write an exam, but the person who's marking it, they won't know you, so they're kind of judging you on something you did just one day. So it's kind of, I wrote that about this one. So it's called Hunger for Happiness. What do they even mean, these grades on paper that are now our goal? The marker didn't know me. They couldn't see my soul. When they sit and judge me on the stuff I wrote that day, they'll never realise how that exam caused my mind to fray. The headaches and the worry, all the wrong questions for me. They saw me as a faceless failure, but that is what I'll never be. They never see me at my greatest, when I'm focused on my dream, when I stand up tall for justice, when I take one for the team. They don't see me as I write, just so people can read. I just wish to make another smile. I want that to take the lead. Grades to money to mansions, it'd be nice, I may as well say. But I want to write for others, to create a single laugh in one day. A decent life is all I need. Someone to love, who'll love me, I guess. Something to be proud of, a contribution, my investments in happiness. This one's kind of inspired by, well, I think everyone knows what this feeling is. When someone comes up to you, you know them, but they say, "Oh, how are you today?" And you're like, "I'm fine," but really, you're thinking, "No, I'm not fine. I've had all these problems with work and whatever." But you wouldn't say that. You're just like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Well, this is kind of what it is. Yeah, it's called faking it. The fear is bubbling up. It's brewing hot inside. I could easily cry and scream out, but just see how well I hide. You can ask me how I am, like folk do every day, but surely you don't expect me to open up and say, "No, I'm flipping well not. My heart broke in two last night. I'm terrified of the future. All I seem to do is fight. Against my brain that can't focus. Against my heart that's let me down. Against my spirit that sobs silently. Against my soul that can't make a sound." So when you ask me how I am, I'll paint on a smile and say I'm fine. People will just shrug and nod, and I won't show any sign. That's the way I want it. I don't wish to make a scene, and it amuses me to know you have no idea what I mean. And then, this next one, it was, well, you probably all heard about the Castle Park fire. Well, I was casually sitting in my room and I heard about this one. I think my mum told me about it and she heard it on Twitter or something. And I just thought, it was an arson attack, and I just thought it's going to be blamed on young people. It may well have been that, we don't know, but I just thought we'd write something about how young people are kind of stereotyped by the media. It's called Everything Changes, and it's kind of to do with how I moved up here from Nottingham to kind of get away from all the kind of city life, if you like. So it's called Everything Changes. What's actually going on? How can this happen here? We fled the city a decade ago. Now this place is filled with fear. Everything changes all the time, and I just can't work out why. I thought all would be well. I thought I'd learn to fly. But nothing stays the same. Paradise can turn to hell. Will we escape from it? Only time will tell. It's up to us to fix it. We're the future, us teens. But the minority just destroy. They're creating these scenes. I don't know how to tell them, make them see what it will do. We can't feel safe in our own town because of those despicable few. We'll get blamed for the downfall. how the country's being torn apart. The youngsters will get grouped as one, but some of us, we're smart. We have respect, we know what's what. We have more cares than a can of beer, and if we have to fight for our world, be surprised, but we'll always be here. And then I've got one here. It's again how you kind of when I'm kind of feeling a bit down, I like to listen to music to kind of make me feel better. So that's what this is about, really. It's called Mass. The pain pours out your eyes as your heart breaks in two. All you want to do is heal it, but there's nothing you can do but strap it back together, if only to make it seem whole. Drown your tears in the music. It's the music that can fill the hole. It won't knit it back as one, it will just soak up the bleed. The world won't know the difference. You've got to hide it with such speed. You try to convince the world you're fine. You bury it deep inside. But your aim is to believe it yourself and forget you ever cried. It's not enough to fool others. You need to fool your brain as well. And even though the pain's still there, the music can mask it well. So focus on the new blue sky. Let the sun dry your tears. See the beauty that's all around, like you've been doing for years. I've just got a couple more. This one's I was inspired by, there was a poetry competition that was advertised in my school, and it was, I can't remember what it was called, but it was, the subject was voyages, and that's just what I wrote about. And it's called What They Call Growing Up. When I took in the bareness of my room, I was 8. I sat cross-legged, walls clean, my canvas was blank, not wondering how my life would progress. That turning point I can still see in my mind as I sat in my toy sack saying goodbye. That sack is so small for me now, but I've mostly grown inside. Now I'm thinking back 4 years. It's just a fragment of eternity, but in that blink of an omniscient eye, I evolved in ways now so clear to me. I see the world differently to how I did back then, when I wept so long for a boy I didn't know. When you can truly see how far you've come, that's what they call growing up, you know. I can now look back on the tiny little things, those awful moments when I was left on the shelf. I used to think of my past as what I'd change if I could. Now I see the tears as a part of myself. The bullies, the loneliness, when I screamed at deaf ears, they strengthened my heart and gave perspective to my fears. I don't need to travel upon the high and wild seas. The longest distance isn't always the key. The journey to discover myself is the voyage I took. Not the geographical miles, but the emotional infinity. And I've just got just a little one now. It's just kind of about, you kind of get it, I think. It's just kind of about me. It's called No Worries. Why should I worry? I don't need to change. I love the way I am. And if people think I'm strange, watch me as I prove how much I don't care. It amuses me a lot to see the way they stare. Bewildered faces, but mine's a grin. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I'll write whatever I want. I'm not one to be confined to rules set by the ones on top, to the ones who follow the crowd. I'm paving my own path, brick by brick. I'm going to make myself proud.
be very proud. That's really good. How long have you been writing?
Since I was about 8, and I'm 18 now, so it's a long time.
There's a real maturity about your work. Thank you very much indeed. That was tremendous. Thank you.